Hey guys, welcome back. Friday afternoon, we're here. Everybody made it to the end of the week. Well done. Chile, Mexico, where else is everybody from? And how is everybody's Friday afternoon going? So quiet out there today. Pakistan. Georgia. It's close-ish. Canada, Ecuador. Awesome. Once again, little SketchUp, the world of SketchUp. France. Wow. Never ceases to amaze me how everybody comes in from different spots in the world where it's not noon. Which is what time it is here in Boulder. All right, we're going to give one more minute for people to get logged on. Hello, Germany. Hello, Hungary. Puerto Rico. It's probably warmer than 35 degrees where you're at. Abdul is fighting with SketchUp because he's trying to do Boolean operations on solid meshes with large numbers of polygons. I've done some of that battle myself. My recommendation would be to scale everything up and give it a shot. All right, guys, welcome back. It is once again Friday afternoon, and it's Friday afternoon just before the holidays. So we got Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. I don't know what everything you guys celebrate, but that's why we use the term holidays, I guess. Happy all the holidays to you guys. But that's coming up, which does mean some downtime here because we're not going to actually stream the next 2 weeks. And not going to get back here till the first full week after January. But I figured we'd still hang out for a little bit today, right? I can handle 2 weeks. I don't know if I can handle 3 weeks without doing something. So, hey Dave, Gamborg, how are you guys doing? So you guys may have seen on social, we called this thing today a holiday potluck for a couple reasons. One of which was I didn't know exactly what we were going to do today. I'm still working on it. I'm still trying to come up with a plan right now. But like I said, I did want to hang out, but I didn't necessarily have a specific model I wanted to do. So I would love if you guys have some thoughts during this opening part, if there's something really cool. It's not officially an Ask Me to Model Anything session, but if you guys have something, question you want to dive into, something like that. I have a couple things that have come up this week that I want to show. But if we do have something we want to look at specifically, let me know, and maybe we'll dive into a specific model for a little bit. Yeah, so we're gonna do something like that, which is a fancy way of me just saying I still don't know what we're doing. But that's okay. Dave is asking if I want his suggestion. I already have your suggestion, Dave. As a matter of fact, if I minimize the windows on my screen, you'll see that right here on my desktop, I have this picture. And Dave called me out on social media to do this model, which is the Cadillac bicycle. But just to prove that I didn't just download your picture, Dave, I did research because I happen to have this picture and this picture. So thought has actually gone into this. I really did consider more than consider, I was actually debating hopping in and doing this model. And I don't know, I guess it may still happen. I said, haven't really figured it out yet, but yeah, Dave's suggestion is noted. So before we hop in, this is the normal, I know, I'm sorry, well, only 2 weeks. Like I said, we'll be back in January. Well, this counts as one, even if it's not an official full-blown 3-hour model, which I just have a feeling, well, it's definitely not gonna be because I haven't got a model to do for 3 hours. But just to throw it out, in case anything happens that we need to pass files back and forth for, I did create this up on the forum, so you guys can hop in there and post files for me, and I will get them and look at them and all that kind of stuff too. So that is available if should the need arise. There's a couple other things I want to touch on. One is this right here. I don't know if everybody got a chance to, I know everybody didn't get a chance to weigh in on this because, well, there's not enough responses for everyone to have gotten in there. But we did reach out to you guys and ask if you had any resolutions, SketchUp related, for 2020. And we had some people get back with some good answers. So I just want to do a couple call outs. Cotty did say that, well, his wasn't a call out. His wasn't his own resolution so much as calling TomTom out. So he reminded TomTom that the Dodge Challenger model he's been working on for the last 5 or 6 years still isn't finished. So that doesn't count as a resolution. You can't make a resolution for somebody else, I don't think. That's cheating. Shep wants to get better at using SketchUp for CNC, so that's awesome. I don't know what Mike was talking about. Jack said something here about connecting, trembling, rubling. I don't know what that was. But yeah, so if you haven't, not that we're going to keep you accountable, but we would love to hear what you, as a SketchUp user, are going to try to do. Frederick says he's modeling a Flash Gordon spaceship, which is awesome. That's that kind of super retro-looking rocket. I think that's what you're talking about, Fred. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so some more people on here, but it's fun to read that. We also put up a blog post where we had some of our staff members weigh in on what they wanted to do. So that's a fun thing to read too. So you can see what the folks here at SketchUp want to do or get better at doing with the software as well. All right, so those are a couple things I wanted to touch on before we got too far into anything else. A few more things I want to do. One is I want to catch up on last week's project. So last week, those of you who were here, well, even if you weren't here, this is still what we did last week. I took pictures of the Mandalorian's helmet and modeled it. There was some, I'll be honest, there was a couple road bumps in the road. I almost tripped and fell. I think I recovered somewhat gracefully, but yeah, it was not perfect, but we got something done. And I was able to come out with a fully printable solid. I did a little bit of cleanup. It was like maybe 45 minutes of cleanup after the model of just going through and erasing extra geometry, that sort of thing, just clean up. But this is up on the warehouse right now. So if you want to, you can go up to 3D Warehouse and you can download this. It's actually 6 pieces. The top's a piece, the back's a piece, the mask's a piece, each ear's a piece, and then there's a little panel in the back. So all those pieces are up on Warehouse in this model right here. So you guys can go grab that today. And not only did I finish making it solid, but, hold on, I'll be right back. I got it somewhat printed. So let's hop in here. We're expecting that, huh? Ooh, in your face. So, oh, that looks terrible. It looks so glowy. You can't see any definition. I got a filter or two on here to make me look good, and it's not working for the white of the helmet, apparently. Let me see if I can fix that at all. We bring the brightness down? No, that's not it. It's still glowing. Wow, it looks so cool, though. Here, what if we just kill the... Yeah, that helps. So you can see the green screen right now, but you can kind of also see the helmet this way. I have a fairly bright light right there, so I think that's why it's creating the washout. But this is what I printed this week. Any of you following on social saw that I started this print Friday afternoon and had a catastrophic failure. A part on the printer actually broke. So I was trying to print this top piece, which is a 2-day print, and probably less than an hour after I left, the filament feed broke, and it didn't print at all. So this print, the top print, was a new print I ran, and unfortunately, the printer actually ran out of filament as it was printing, so I'm missing the top like ½ inch of the helmet. Didn't make it through the printer because, yeah, filament ran out. But the other pieces did turn out okay. So yeah, I had to, after I ran out, I printed one more piece in purple, but you can see, actually slide it on, it turned out pretty cool. So yeah, there's some work to do. It's just, right now it's just taped together with painter's tape because I'm gonna wait for all the pieces to get done before I actually glue it all together. But yeah, that's from SketchUp, concept, modeled in about 3 hours, 3 hours 45. Yeah, I did do a little bit of cleanup, and then several days of printing turned into that. So I've had actually a couple people ask about how sturdy it is or how strong it is. Right now it is separate pieces, like I said, held together with painter's tape. So it doesn't put up with much right now. The individual pieces though are pretty strong. They're, I don't know, somewhere between a 1/8 inch. It's over 1/8 of an inch thick, so it's hard to see that there, but it does have some thickness to it. The cowl on itself, I can squeeze right there. It doesn't deform at all. The mask, of course, is a little floppy because there's nothing holding the front pieces together. So something will probably happen in there. I'll glue something in there to strengthen that up. And the top is, I mean, it's like a construction helmet. It feels like a hard hat. So that's totally solid. Well, except for that, not solid so much here as it is here. But yeah, it's definitely going to be, once it's all done, glued together, hours and hours of sanding are going to get done, and some putty to fill some cracks, that kind of thing. But once it's all done, I have a feeling it's going to be a very solid piece of plastic. So pretty excited about the way that turned out. I will probably over the next several weeks work on finishing it. So if you're following me on Instagram, you will see that. Yeah, Dave's pointing out that I could use it to my advantage by putting a fan in here and letting air circulate. I'd say if the hole was a little bigger, it actually wouldn't mess up my hair. I could actually stick that through right there, but that would ruin the purpose of a helmet, I suppose. I don't know. This isn't really functional, but I was able to abuse the season a little bit because watch this. This is how I fixed it when it was sitting on my desk. Boom. Santa Fet. See? Can't even see the hole at all now. Okay. Go over here, Mandalorian. Ooh, whoops. And, oh, check this out. So you guys can see, this is what it looks like in real life with the green screen turned off. We'll turn back on now. We'll go back over here. Oh, no, I didn't turn back on. Hold up. Talk amongst yourselves. There we go. All right. Now we're back. Kind of. All right, so that's enough talking about headgear. Hold on. Totally. My microphone cable is wrapped around the wheels of my chair. So this is how it's going to be today, apparently. All right, maybe that'll work. Okay, so there was one more thing I wanted to do this morning. I know I am talking so much. Sorry, Christopher, but thank you. Welcome. And hey, Rodrigo, how's it going? one more thing I did want to do, and this is actually to prep for a future session. I need your guys' input on something, but also want to do a little bit of a celebration. So you'll indulge me in a moment while we head over to the fireplace. So this is my holiday fireplace. This is fireside SketchUp, relaxing, and I wanted to come over here because we have to actually open a couple presents. See this? These are real. This isn't part of the green screen, I mean the real, very real background. But I got a couple of gifts that I wanted to open with you guys because I need some input from you. So go ahead and open. Ooh. Look, it's a present. Actually not a present at all, totally lying, but it's from Wacom. So they sent this very nice, easy to open tablet my way. So I wanted to show this to you guys because what we talked to them about doing is actually doing some modeling with a tablet rather than the standard 3D mouse. So you guys may have remembered, you've seen that skill builder I did, which was just kind of quick tips for setting up your tablet to model in SketchUp, but I haven't really done any serious modeling with a tablet. I've done some tablet work for other things, Illustrator, Photoshop kind of stuff, but I've never really 3D modeled with a tablet. So this is going to be an opportunity for us to dive in a little bit deeper and really come up with a workflow for modeling with a tablet. The other thing that Wacom sent, and this is pretty neat. I mean, I don't know what's in this second package. That's what I meant to say. This was originally wrapped with green paper this morning. Doesn't work well in front of a green screen. Oh, look. So this is Wacom's Pro Pen 3D. I haven't used this at all. I mean, I've literally looked at it, but looks like it's a cigar. But it's actually a special stylus which is created for moving around in 3D. So I'm excited to see use this and see how this works. I know it has extra buttons. I'm not exactly sure how it works with 3D, but cool option to try out something new. So here's where you guys come in. I need your help because I see two ways of tackling this workflow of modeling with a stylus and a tablet. The one thing that I could do is I could spend a couple weeks practicing. I could get, I'm not going to say I'm going to become great at it, but I can get some experience, some time under my belt modeling, and come back and show you guys some tips that I've come up with and kind of show you the workflow I've developed. The other option, and I know how you guys like watching me in paint, so this is probably where you're all going to go. But the other option is I could come in with a model, it's about an hour worth of modeling, model it with my standard workflow with my 3D mouse and my 3-button mouse, get that modeled up, and then without spending time actually using this setup, I could try to recreate the same or a similar model using the tablet. So I want to hear your guys' ideas. Like, which one of those sounds more fun to you, or what would you like to see? Because the other option, I mean, there's a third option here, which is start with Aaron in Paint and watch me try to model without my mouse, and then come back 2-3 weeks later and have a real professional workflow worked out by then. So I'd love to hear what you guys think. So in the comments, let me know if you want to see me develop my workflow on the fly, develop my workflow fully, or try to do both. But there's some tablet modeling in our future. That's what that all means. So, all right, I'm gonna leave the fireside now and head back over into the modeling room. And we're back. All right, so Gamborg is saying, let's learn together. And that seemed like the nice way of saying Aaron's suffering is fun. Rodrigo's more straightforward. He says, I like seeing you in pain. Uh, oh, he said he'd like seeing me in pain, but I'd like to see how it actually I actually work on it instead of finding out how to work on it with you. Um, uh, so both. Okay, that is a good solid thought. Um, Dave Richards says if it works, he might have to replace his Cintiq. That would be interesting. That was the video I did was actually on a Cintiq. This one that they've sent me is the Intuos Pro. So it's not actually a screen. It's not I can't remember what they call it, pen display. It's actually just the solid tablet. Maybe try something as simple, model a clipboard or something. What if I model a tablet with the tablet? Ooh, that could be it. Just model the whole Cintiq setup, the pen holder, the pen, all of it. Maybe that's it. Definitely both, Alice is saying. All right, well that's everybody seems to kind of be leaning towards that, which is, it works for me. We'll have to come up with that after New Year's in January. We'll come back in and we'll start with just winging it, and then from winging it, we will develop a real workflow and really spend some time in there. And I just know there's. When I made that first video, I actually talked to a couple people who were SketchUp users on tablets and asked for what their tips were. And Tyson in our office, some of you may know him. He's the guy who does the videos for learn.sketchup.com, our campus videos. And he uses a tablet, and he gave me the tip about, I can't remember, it was the push-pull tip, the way that was set up. So it'll be good to see some of those options and kind of come up with my own workflow, which you guys know that's a thing I do. All right, I think I've covered all the things that we're not modeling that I was going to do. So yeah, well no, if you look at a tablet, it has some nice rounded corners. There's definitely a little more to it than just, but yeah, it's not more than a 10-minute model probably. That might be a little lax, so I'll have to come up with something creative to model with the tablet. All right, so let's look at that software, this software. So I have one or two things that I wanted to play with, and again, it is literally just playing at this point. We're not going to dive quite as deep as we normally do, but there was a couple things that came up. One thing was this, like Dave, I have internal people telling me that I should model things, which I'm all for. I love ideas. I actually have a big spreadsheet full of all kinds of ideas that I've heard. Every time you guys give an idea in the chat, I try to record it and keep track of it. So I actually have a whole bunch of them, like dozens, maybe even hundreds. There's a lot there. So one of the things I got from Ty on our help desk is this thing. Sorry, this is a low quality picture, but what this jig is a daylight simulation jig. So what they would do is on the white table right here, they would put a miniature version of the building, and I don't know which way is north, but they would orient it the proper way, and there's knobs on the side that they can actually turn it depending on the months, and these lights are on these racks, so they actually spin around and cast shadows. And it was cool. It was passed around because you guys know we have an extension for SketchUp called Sapphira, and one of the things Sapphira does is daylight simulation. It's really cool. So they'll actually go in and make a heat map of the light and dark parts of your house, that kind of stuff. It does a bunch of work automatically on a building that's geolocated for the sun. But this is how they used to do it before they had fancy software. And it's literally like a big series of hula hoops with lights on them. So it's pretty cool. so Ty challenged me to make this. So I was thinking, you know, I bet I could make this in just a couple minutes. So I wanted to just throw out a quick model, but then this model made me think of a different model that I really wanted to try out. So I'm going to start with this real quick because there's a cool trick that I can do in here that I haven't done for a while. I don't think I've ever done it on live. And I'm going to remove Mark because I'm not going to model to scale. You know, you knew that already. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a circle right here. I'm going to create a circle with 48 sides because I want it to be a fairly smooth circle. I'm going to throw it right there like that. And then back here somewhere, I'm going to create a rectangle centered vertically with the green axes. And now, Avi, the name for the daylighting tool is Saphira, S-E-F-A-I-R-A. All right, and now I don't have any dimensions other than this woman standing here, so this is 5-ish feet, something like that. So I don't know. It's really not. I don't know much about this, to be honest. So, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to approximate some things. I'm going to assume that that's like that. It looks like they kind of something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's actually and there's a second one here, and they actually look like they kind of follow an arc a little bit. So I'm going to space these guys out just a little bit more, something like that. All right. And I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to make it a group and put it in its own group. And I'm going to come in here. I'm actually get rid of these surfaces right here. Whoops, too much. Just the surface, just the face. I got called out on the forum for using the term surface too often and not face. SketchUp actually does work with faces and not surfaces, so it's right to be called out. Still hurt my feelings, but I got over it. All right, something like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab this circle. I'm going to say follow me. Now, I can't follow me with a group because that's the way it works. It's follow me searches or asks for a face. But what I can do is while I'm in follow me, I can right click on a group and say edit group. When I enter the context of the group, I'm still in the follow me command. So it's still asking me to select a face. So I'm going to pick this surface right here. And it's going to take that surface now and it's going to spin it around that circle. So what I'm going to start with once I do that is going to look like it's just that rectangle following the circle. But on the inside, see, so that doesn't look that impressive to start with. But if I take these surfaces of the outside and get rid of them, remember my geometry, those circles I put in the face? If I delete this now, I get something like that. Which like I said, I don't think I got the dimensions exactly right or even the relative to each other. But I think if I take that and, here, let's do this. Take it. Okay, so they were a little more vertical. I put a little bit too much of a cant between them, but I thought that was a fun option to do there to actually copy all that geometry. In fact, I don't even think this is a circle. This might be a square bar or something like that, but the concept is solid. And it's a fun one, and I don't know if you guys have seen it before, but I figured I'd throw it out there. But this model made me think of a totally different model that actually has nothing to do with this at all. Because that's apparently how my brain functions. So I got a question. Do you all remember the movie Lawnmower Man? I know I'm probably dating myself with this. But in Lawnmower Man, when they went into this world with what they called virtual reality, you guys ever heard of that one? It's I think it was a late 80s movie. They go into virtual reality, and to go into virtual reality, they get into these big gyroscopes. And they used to have them like at fairs or carnivals or whatever, and you'd pay $5 to go in it or whatever. And you'd hold on to the circle, and it was 3 circles inside of each other, all on bearings, so it could spin the middle circle in any direction. You guys remember those? Is that? I'm not the only one who remembers that, right? That was a thing. But I wanted to make something like that, and I wanted to put a cool trick on there to make it actually do its gyroscopic animation. So I'm going to do that real quick. So Robert's asking if that was box. I don't know if this is box. This is actually something I saw a long time ago. It may have been box. Half the time I attribute stuff to box and say, oh, box showed me this is really cool. Box goes on social media and posts. That wasn't me. I learned from so-and-so, but it is totally possible that was a box thing. And I don't know, you guys have to go look at the video I did on railing maybe 2 years ago. I may have attributed that to box. It's possible. But yes, I want to start a new one. I know, I'm all over the place, but this is what Potluck's all about. You know, you have some bean dip, you have some mac and cheese, grab a cookie. That's how it works. Oh, Dave said he was in one of those things a few years ago. That doesn't sound like fun, Dave, especially if you're having your equilibrium tested. All right, let's see. If anybody has a picture of one of those, like I said, I think it's just called a gyroscope, but I don't know. If anybody has a picture of that, throw it up on the forum real quick, and I can put it up on the screen. So I'm going to do a dumbed down version. I don't have a good reference image for all of it, but I do want to, like I said, I want to do this because I have something I want to test. All right, I'm going to start with come here, Mark. You come over here for just a moment. I'm going to use you in a second. Yes. Christopher Moran's pointing out that it was also in Space Camp. Speaking of 80s movies, it was. But I don't remember what they're called there either. All right, so I'm going to take this circle and I'm going to offset it 4 inches. And I'm going to take this circle and offset it 6 inches. And I'll offset that 4 inches, and I'll offset that 6 inches, and then I will offset that 4 inches. All right. So what I really want here is these 3 rings. And I need Mark, and I'm going to take Mark, and I need him flat for this, for what I'm about to do. So I'm going to take Mark, and there's a couple things I could do. Let's make a couple marks. So if you've ever wanted to get a face me on the flat before, 2 ways of doing this. One is to take a face me and explode it. When you explode it, you get rid of the face me tag, the data that comes in there that says, make it always face camera. See, so as I turn it now, he turns and he doesn't. The bad side is, well, now I have them facing, I don't even know what axes. Easy enough to change though, because all I have to do is go into rotate, get on the blue axis, so I can hit the up arrow, pick any point, and then any other point. It looks like he's 3D, but remember he's flat. So any 2 points are in plane on him, and I can rotate that to the red axes. So now he's flat to the axes. The other option I have is to take this, go inside, triple click, and cut him out of there. And then when I come out and paste, now he'll be on the flat automatically. So that's come up for me because I end up editing a lot of 2D components and make all those, Christmas time with Mark, Thanksgiving Mark, where I stuck Mark's head on a turkey. That was fun. But I've always found it can be kind of painful to get it out of there because he aligns to whatever axes you happen to be zooming at the time. Theoretically, another way you could do it is you could come to a straight on view like this and then explode him, and he should be on axes again also. Regardless of how you do it, this is what I wanted, was a flat mark. And I'm going to take him now and I'm going to lay him, he's straight up now. I'm going to put him straight down. And I'm going to take Mark now. I'm going to put him in the middle, right in the center, right like that. All right. Take that. Anybody figure out what that's called yet? The Space Camp Lawnmower Dave Richards ride? All right. There we go. Put it more in the center. All right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually give these rings a little bit of depth. If you remember in the actual thing, gyroscope ride thing, the rings do have some, they're not flat like this, they actually have some depth to them. They're structural, they're sound, they put a human being in there and spin them around, so it's not a weak piece of material. So I'm going to come up, let's see, what is this? Let's say 3 inches, bring all of them up. But I want to stay centered. Everything I'm making here, I want to make sure it's centered around this origin point. So I'm going to take the bottom and bring it down 3 inches also. Now I'm going to make each of these their own group. So they're going to temporarily be groups, but I'm about to change them to components also. So I'm going to take this one, I'm going to say make this a group, make this a group, and make this and all of Mark my third group. All right, now here's the fun part. So with a normal face me, like a normal Mark here, let's get rid of, actually we can just remake him into a group. When I make a face me component and I say always face camera, what that's doing with that component is it's taking the red axes, it's always the red axes, you don't have control over this, it's taking the red axes and facing it towards the camera. So when I hit create, now whichever way I spin, it looks like Mark's face is pointing at me, but it's actually just the red axes. So if I was to do something like come in here, make component, always face camera, but I said set component axes and I put it right here, but then put the red axes over like this. Now I'm going to get aloof Mark who will never actually look right at me because he's always just slightly away from the camera. So knowing that, I thought there might be something cool I could do with always face camera and this thing. Somebody is outside the office and wants to be let in. Could you go out and open that front door? You have to come over to design and you can be let in. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this first group, I'm going to right click, say make component. I'm going to hit always face camera, but if I just hit create right now, it's not going to be too exciting because all it's going to do is pivot off of that point, which is over here at the corner, and make it always face towards me. That's not what I'm looking for at all. Control Z. All right, I'm going to right click, say make component, always face camera, and I'm going to change my axes. So another rule of make component, or always face camera, is the blue axis doesn't change. The blue axis is always straight up like this, and it spins around the blue axis to keep the red axis pointing towards you. So this is where I thought I could really make a mess. So if I take the red axis, keep the red axis this way, but put my green axis down, it's going to change that because it's going to switch what direction I see that from. All right, so hold that thought. Over here in the forum, we got a good posting. Yes, this thing, Space Camp Training Chair. That works. Yeah, so this is the idea. So we're trying to get this, and the reason they had this, so they had all these pieces, each of these circles hinged at one spot along the middle, so it spun, the inner sphere could spin, or the inner seat could spin then at any direction. So that's one. So let's grab the next one and say, make that a component. This time, I will, whoops. Always face camera, set my component axes. This time, let's make red go this way and green go this way. That didn't work. Control Z. All right. I'm making stuff up again. This happens. All right, so red axis this way. Green axis this way. There we go. Oh, we're getting there. Stuff's happening. All right, one more. So if I take this one, make component, always face camera, set component axes. Okay, so this time, if we go red this way, and then blue that way. Nope, that didn't work. I undid too many times. Oh, I undid more. Undid. Redo, redo. All right. Let's try this one more time. So if I click this one, all right, so this is red's facing that way. All right, so this one last time. Make component. Always face camera, set component axes. Red this way, green vertical. Looks like it's the same as the other one. Oh, that works. All right, so if we actually don't align the third one, then I can flip it around like this in 3D. Sorry, Mark. Oh, there's an inner ear problem. Take that, and just to make this a little bit easier to visualize, I'll go to my styles. I will set my color, everything background to white. And last step to sell this thing, I'm going to turn my axes off. There we go. There's an equilibrium tester. There's a Space Camp Training Chair. That kind of makes me want to make a Christmas ornament out of that. I just need a couple of cardboard tubes and a mark cut out. I could make that. So I'll arrange him in a pleasant situation. Something like that. All right, so honestly, guys, I didn't have a whole lot more than that. That was it. Space Camp Training Chair and a helmet. That was my Christmas present to you. No, actually, my Christmas present was we still got to hang out a little bit. But really, that was about all I had to show. So it's only been 45 minutes though, so I mean, we could hang out for another couple minutes, right? Does anybody have any questions or specific things they want to see? Because really, like I said, I didn't have a model planned. I wasn't actually 100% sure this was even going to happen, to be totally honest. But we're here, so while we're here, any thoughts? And I want to ask one last time. Tablet thing, going back to that again. The plan, it seems like, what everybody seems to want to do, I'm just going to keep this rolling on the screen because it's cool visual aid. But it seems like what we should do with the tablet is come in here after we take this couple weeks break. I'll come in with a model. And I was joking about modeling a tablet. That's a little too simple. But maybe we'll come up with something a little tougher. Maybe it'll be Dave's Cadillac car. We'll come in and we'll model that partially with the standard 3D mouse and see how that goes. And then we'll try to do something comparable to that model. Maybe we'll do half and half, where we'll kind of discover together what it's like using a tablet. Can you show how to place the sun vertically in a model to see shadows under furniture? We can probably do that. And then we'll come back later on, maybe in a later model, and I'll spend some time off camera developing my workflow. And we'll come back and I'll have some solid tips and tricks for anybody who's ever interested in moving into or back to a tablet workflow. Mark's just rolling on out now. All right, so our model prompted Sven to ask for a Stargate thing. Isn't it called a Stargate? Stargate thing. Hey, I'm all for calling things things. You guys know that. Or thingy, that works, thingy. But isn't the thingy in Stargate called a Stargate? It's been a while since I've seen that. With some dragon heads on it and make it gold. That's very specific. So let's look at, I'm just going to draw a shape on the ground, reverse it. And then the question was specific to furniture. So let's, C.A. Ward, I knew it was going to come up eventually. This is a 3D mouse. Specifically, this is the Space Mouse Enterprise from 3D Connection. So it helps to move things in 3D space without having to use my actual 3-button mouse over here. It's not a requirement for SketchUp, but if you do a lot of presentation, it's a nice way to give nice smooth animation like this. Those of us who use SketchUp are used to, scrolling in and out or dragging and spinning like this. There's nothing wrong with that. It's actually pretty easy if your brain's expecting it, but if you're watching that as a presentation, it can be a little jarring. So I like to use a 3D mouse just because it gives me the ability to make that nice smooth animation. And if you're a designer who wants to take your design to the next level, like your capabilities, make yourself better, bigger, faster, $6.5 million man kind of thing, better, stronger, faster, whatever that was. It's nice because while I'm doing this, so while I'm looking at my animation over here, this mouse is free to jump and do whatever I need to, click another command, make a selection, that kind of thing. Actually, if you have real good hand-eye coordination, you can do things like grab the eraser and use together to like slide around and pick things as you're moving. It's kind of fun. So let's. All right, so I'm just gonna make a couple pieces of furniture. Forgive me, Dave. This is not going to be an impressive piece of furniture. Dave, those of you who don't know, is good at making furniture models, like real good. So I feel compelled to apologize when I'm about to hack a shape together just for the purposes of demoing. What? Oops. All right. I probably could have downloaded something from this 3D warehouse in the time it took me to do that, but anyhow, I'm going to call that a chair. Whoa, it's a little chair. It's for little ones with big seats. All right. I'm going to make that a component. I'm going to call it chair. I'm going to take that. I'm going to put it right, whoops, I'm going to grab by the foot and put it on top of my surface. So there was a reason that I did put this on a surface. And I'm going to make a couple more copies of this real quick. And that's because there is actually a difference between casting shadows onto a surface and casting shadows onto my zero plane. Depending on your settings, it may work different. If I want to put shadows on now, if I go over to my shadow setting, that's where we keep them, makes sense. And I can just toggle by clicking this right here. So you can see the assumption is always that the green axis is facing north. This is not geolocated, so I'm actually kind of generically placing based on my UTC time right here. But from here, I can actually take my time and move the sun back and forth, east and west in the sky to change where that falls. So the question was, can we get the shadows directly underneath furniture? That's just a combination of the time and date. So if I was looking for, close to straight above, I could actually move my dials until something like that happens. So short answer, yes, you can put your shadows directly or close to directly underneath your furniture using the shadow UI and just sliding those sliders to the right spot. Christopher Morin said, model the 3D mouse. That's not a bad idea. Got some organic shapes. I got some, that's a good idea. I like that, Christopher. Maybe that'll happen. Yeah, sometimes words happen and I don't always have full control over the things yeah. There are big chairs with short legs. That's what I was saying. Okay, so yeah, so that's a thing. Mr. Richards, speaking of Hume, posted something over here. And he's showing off, first off, his beautiful lathe model. That is super cool. How much time did you spend on that, Dave? Just curious exactly what you did there, because that had to take a lot of time. Well, I saw some in progress posts, so I know it took some time. And I think you even sent me the drawing for this piece right here. Like, you made me feel good thinking, oh, Dave needs my help. And then as I muddled through it, you kind of pointed out that you had already modeled it. Still, it's fun to share. Yeah, so this is a clear illustration too of there's that shadow directly overhead, and here's the settings, 12 noon on June 21st. So hopefully that's good. All right. Yeah, not sure what other questions we have. It was probably a total of 2 or 3 hours. That is a good solid model, Dave. But you always create the nicest machine models. I really always enjoy looking at your work on the forum. Is this model posted anywhere? Do you actually have this up there or up anywhere? Just curious. Oh yeah, so one of the things Dave was pointing out, yeah, is that he did manually set the latitude. I suppose that, I don't know, where's the 25th? I don't know. So I guess what you're saying is you're setting that closer down south to get a directly over the head sun that shines straight down, as opposed to, because depending on where, if you're geolocated in Boulder, for example, the sun is quite a ways south of us, so it's more difficult to get that like that. Cool. Well, honestly, guys, like I said, we're pretty much close to going on vacation, so I don't know, I got a whole lot more than that. I guess we could pretty much wrap it up. Now I gotta sit still for the 10 to 15 second delay while you guys respond to that question. So going back to my questioning face that I just had. So yeah, farther south, June 21st and noon. So Dave put it on the 21st. What are they called? Latitudinal line? I can't remember, but yeah. So it can be done. You can pretty easily set that up. I guess it really depends on how close you actually need it to be to straight underneath. But if you put it on the equator, I guess, at noon anytime, you'll be directly overhead. Cool. Well, I'm going to call you guys. I think it has been fun, and like I said, I just wanted to kind of hang out with you a little bit. Maybe it was selfish. Maybe it was just me wanting to hang out with you, but we got to this point. Thank you very much for hanging out. I promise what we come back and do on the first full week of January will be a complete model. I will try to maybe have a complete-ish helmet to show too then. That would be kind of fun, right? Because good as this looks, I know it can look even better. Oh man, that washout light is just rough. I guess the overhead looks a little bit better. You can see that. It really draws attention to those lines there. Ooh, and we got a picture of Frederick's Buck Rogers work in progress. Very nice. You should start, do you have that in the gallery? You should get that in the gallery and show your work in there also. That looks awesome. I know, Christopher. I know. It's goodbyes are hard, but it's not really goodbye. It's I'll see you later, and yeah. So that'll be the plan. I don't know if it will be right when we come back or it'll be the week after, but we will crack into that Intuos Pro tablet with the 3D pen, and we'll check out how that works. I'm excited to do that. I like peripherals. You guys know that. I like my pieces of hardware that I get to use with my software. But let's everybody have a happy holiday, whatever it is you're celebrating. Go enjoy that. Have a great couple of weeks off. Like I said, we'll be coming back in January. And until then, thank you guys, and I'll look forward to getting back with you. I will leave the comments up for a little while, so if you guys do have ideas for a model or input, thoughts, comments, whatever you got, we feed off that, we run off that. Love hearing from you guys, so that's actually why we do this. That's why I'm here right now and not somewhere else. I had something spinning up in my head that would make that a more complete good thought, but I don't know. I think I'm done. But anyhow, thank you guys so much. Thanks for coming by, and we'll see you in 2020.